I'm making dinner tonight, and what we're making for dinner tonight is something that Ash planned out. It's a really great meal to have if you just don't have a lot of budget for eating. So we're gonna make chicken, rice, and peas. To do that, I've got a packet of yellow rice. It's already pre-seasoned, and it's perfect and ready to go. We've got some leftover chicken that's already pre-cooked from a meal that we had earlier in the week. Got a can of sweet peas with no salt. Got some vegetable broth. I've got some butter. We're largely going to be following along with the packet on the rice. What they ask for is to start with 2 cups of water to a boil. But I'm not going to use water. I want this to have another depth of flavor. So we're going to do 2 cups of vegetable broth. All right, that's about 2 cups. I'm using the wok because this will end up being a 1-pot meal, but we don't really need a pan this big. I just really enjoy it for meals that turn into 1-pot meals. So I'm going to pour the vegetable broth into the wok. And I'm going to turn the heat on high to bring that to a boil. Now that the broth is boiling, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of butter. And the packet of rice. And then I have to stir it for 1 minute. I'm going to reduce the heat on that a little bit. I don't need it to be boiling too vigorously. All right, that's the minute. I'm going to bring this down to a little bit of a lower temperature, so it's just barely bubbling on top, giving us a nice simmer. And I'm going to close it. And I'm going to let that sit for about 20 to 25 minutes. While that's simmering, I'm going to open and drain the peas. And now, while this is simmering, I'm going to add the peas. Going to add the chicken. Now I'm going to give it a quick stir to mix it in. Adding the peas and the chicken while it's still simmering allows it to cook just a little bit and incorporate the flavors of the dish better together. This still has about 15 more minutes to simmer, so I'm going to leave you to it. I'll be back in a sec. It's been about 2.5 minutes now that it's been cooking. So before I go too much further and let it cook the rest of the way, one of the things that I like to do in every dish that I make is I like to taste it as I go along. It's a lot easier to season things while you're cooking it than after it's done. So there you go. You can see it's starting to firm up a bit while that water's being incorporated right into the rice. All right, let's try a little bit. That's quite good already. The seasoning of the rice comes off great, and the addition of vegetable broth instead of water I think really does bring that depth of flavor. Chicken was already salted, so I'm not surprised that that doesn't need any salt, and the peas have incorporated the salt that was already in the dish. The timer just went off, so let's see how it looks. Oh yeah. Give that a nice stir. Scrape up off the crunchy rice from the bottom. The rice that sat on the bottom has a bunch of flavor on it now due to the fact that it actually did slightly burn. The last thing I want to do on this, I know the flavor's good, but I need to know that the texture's good too, because no one wants to be eating crunchy rice. That's pretty good, but it's still al dente. I want to give it a little bit more cooking time, so I'm going to put that on for another 5 minutes. Another 5 minutes have passed. The rice should be a bit softer, so let's check it out. Listen to that sizzle. Yeah, it's nice and soft. I think it's ready to eat. Dinner's ready.